Hey there folks, this is Saul here at Autotek, and today we're going to talk a little bit about some of those might as well factors when it comes to getting your car repaired. Now oftentimes you might take your vehicle in for service and the technician might come back with a recommendation and say, well, this component's failed, but really we should be addressing this whole system. And sometimes as the consumer, that can feel a little uncomfortable. Maybe we don't know why that's being recommended or we don't quite understand, and it just seems like it's an upsell. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the Lexus IS series, and this was based off the Toyota Camry, Avalon, and base models for about 20 years. Now the IS series has been made for over 20 years now, and they just put these into all-wheel drive production in the second generations in 2007, 2008, I believe. Now what we're going to show today is this pretty interesting mess that we have going on here to perform some service on this vehicle. Now what we're looking at here is we've got the whole front suspension cradle on the ground. Looks like this guy's got an F sway bar, an upgraded sway bar. We've got the whole suspension on the ground. We've got the front differential on the ground. And the reason we're here is for this vehicle to have all-wheel drive capacity and still maintain a low center of gravity, Toyota used this real thick oil pan, nice tall, gave us a lot of volume, and mounted the differential to the side of it. It actually sits right here on the driver's side in America of the vehicle. We're looking at the bottom of the motor mount respectively, so there'd be all the suspension componentry and cradle in front of us. And the differential would mount right there, attached to that drive shaft, and carry power to the rear of the vehicle. And then power is allowed to transfer through the oil pan and actually come out the other side, and that way we're able to use a longer side axle shaft. Now in the case of this vehicle, it came in with a leak from not only where the axle shaft actually attaches and passes through the passenger side of the oil pan, but on the differential itself, both of the output seals were physically leaking as well. So either side, these output seals to the shafts were leaking. Now, it's a serious labor job in order to get this vehicle all the way disassembled to this point, and we're looking at it going, what's the might as well factor here? Why are we making this video today? Well, the reason we're making this video is to talk about what other service this guy could need. Now, the electronic rack and pinion is just floating here in the air in front of us. It's being held up by the steering shaft, and we've actually got some cables just securing it to make sure it doesn't sustain any damage or anything while we're hanging it. But this is a great example of if the rack had issues, if the oil pan had issues, we'd be go ahead and taking care of those at the same time. It's approximately a 13-hour repair, so we want to make sure that this vehicle comes in for service once and goes right back out the door. We want it on the road permanently solved, fixed the first time. And that's why here at Saul's Autotek, we're meticulous. We will take our time to make sure that the repair is performed perfectly. We will quality check it, we'll test drive it, and take it on the same loop you take it to work, because we want to make sure that we nail it out of the park every time. If you've got concerns about your vehicle and you're worried it might be a vehicle that's very labor intensive, maybe a German or Eastern European vehicle that needs some serious labor to get those repairs performed, come and see us before you jump in. We can talk through the entire vehicle tip to tail and make sure those repairs are truly necessary, and if there's any other ancillary or complementary repairs, that those are dealt with appropriately. Whether your Bentley Continental needs the intake manifold removed and we should be changing out that radiator and those busted plastic vacuum lines at the same time in those coils and plugs, or whether your Lexus should be getting an oil pan gasket or rack at the same time it's getting major axle service, we've got your back. We have technicians with decades of experience so that we can help guide you on the correct path to make the most educated decisions to keep your vehicle on the road as long as possible. We're here 365 days a year from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. 303-290-9900. Thank you. We can't wait to see you on the road.